The highly underrated Marlin Model 70 Papoose. This is a really underrated gun, in my opinion. I'm not sure why it isn't more popular than what it is. But when they first came out with these magazines, I was a little hesitant because they're made by Pro Mag. These are 25 round magazines. They've been out a few years, but they work good. My buddy's bought 4 or 5 of them for his little Marlin. I think it's a 795 he's got, and then another one that takes the same magazine, and it does very good. They're quite reliable. Pro Mag did a good job on this magazine. I really can't believe it. Some of their magazines are good, some of them aren't. So this is one of those things. But this gun is a takedown. You can see from the lack of a forearm, it does not have a forearm. You got that little nut right there that you have a wrench that unscrews and then the barrel comes off. That's pretty cool because it's a lightweight gun. It's a portable gun. It goes in a little bitty floatable package that floats, and that makes it really, really cool. I was looking at the 1022 takedowns, seriously thinking about buying one of those. But they're the same size as the regular 22s. They're actually a little bit heavier as the regular 22s, depending on which one you're talking about. And their system that they put, how you put them together and take them apart is superior to this system. Not gonna lie, there. It's a better system. This system right here is kind of it works. I mean, it definitely works. But having that wrench with you if something goes on, if you drop it or whatever and you can't find it, that definitely can be a downfall. Whereas the Ruger, you don't have to have anything. For me, not that big of a deal. I think probably if something was to go down, I'd probably fashion something where I could keep it on the sling with the gun. Is probably what I would do. I'd probably put a little pouch on here or whatever to put the wrench on there. And even if something was to happen to the wrench, you can still do it and then tighten it up by hand or with something else. Most definitely. But this little gun is just super handy. It's super light, way lighter than the Ruger 1022 Takedown. And when they came out with these magazines, it really pole vaulted this thing into a new category of coolness. Having a 25 round magazine, a reliable 25 round magazine. And I don't have one of the original magazines. They come with little bitty stick mags. In my opinion, those are excellent magazines, especially for a little survival rifle like this, because you can put several of them in your pocket. Whereas a Ruger magazine, they're rotary magazine, and they're quite bulky if you try to put them in your pocket. Not that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't put them in your pocket. They're just a lot bulkier than the little 7 and 10 round magazines for these, which to me is a little bit of an advantage for this gun. I would say that the rotary magazines from Ruger are excellent magazines. I don't think anybody will dispute that it's a great way of making a magazine. Like I said, these for kind of what it is, they're just fine. You can even fashion a system, put it on a sling to have a couple extra ones, as a survival rifle. And I really feel that this is a true survival rifle. They're accurate. Marlins are known for being accurate. More times than not, more accurate than the Rugers out of the box. Most people that own Marlins and have had Rugers will tell you that the Marlin is superiorly accurate to the Ruger out of the box. You just have less to do on the gun. There's less accessories available for this, which could be a bad thing, or it could be a good thing, because less accessories means less money you have to spend on it. Really, the only thing that I say get for this gun is a different, is the magazines, the bigger magazines. Sling, that's not really too much of an accessories that that you can't get for any gun. And it does come with the sling studs in it, not the swivels, but the studs in the stock here. You end up there. As far as aftermarket stocks, I don't think they make any for this, but people are making makeshift stocks for them, and I might end up doing that. They got a pretty cool Pro Mag, actually makes a pretty cool folding stock that I've seen people cutting down and doing a makeshift homemade deal on it, and it looks pretty freaking cool. I may end up doing that, maybe, I don't know. One of the advantages of this gun over the Rugers is it's got, when you fire your last shot, it's got last shot hold open. The new Rugers, they may have that, but I know a lot of the old ones don't. And there may be a kit that you can buy to put it on there. There again, more money. Rugers do have a last shot where you can manually hold it open, but when you fire, it doesn't hold it open like this one. And these Pro Mags hold it open too. So you can see there, I just pulled back on the bolt, and it's got a bolt release right here. Awesome. Magazine release right there. You just push that way on it. They don't fall free. So it's kind of cool on this style of gun. You really don't need a magazine falling free. You got a little bitty, one of those little groove mounts for a scope up here, if you can see that. This is a little claw scopes, a little 22 scope or whatever type of mount you want to put on there, red dot, whatever. Will go on there just fine. The sights on it, this rear sight actually looks like it's just a little bit canted, this plastic. That kind of bothers me a little bit. Not that it's really canted, like the sights are canted, but it just looks like it's just a little bit out. It really doesn't affect anything as far as accuracy, but it still shoots just as accurate. It's just when you're looking at it, it looks like it's a little bit off, even though it isn't. That little front hood, they can get bent. That kind of gives you the optical illusion like something's kind of out of whack. And this rear sight can fold. You could even shoot it like that if you had to. A little bit more of an open sight. Tech sights actually make sights that go on the back here. I might end up actually getting that. It's got a little peep sight on the back. I think that would be an awesome upgrade to this rifle, is that tech sight, little peep sight they put on there. Cross bolt safety, nothing too fancy there. Works. The trigger on it is, it's not real great. Trigger on. I know you're not really supposed to dry fire 22s, but if I can get it to cock, it's not a great trigger. It's fine for what it is. It's not a match grade trigger. Charging handle is excellent. That's an excellent charging handle. It's stainless. It sticks out far enough. You can get a good grip on it. No sharp corners on this gun. Everything's pretty radiused. It's just lightweight. I mean, if you got a son or daughter, looking to get into shooting, man, this is an awesome gun to get them, because it's a takedown. It's different. It looks cool, man. I mean, it just looks. Look at that. Is that cool or what? It's like something's missing off of it, but it's, it just works. Kind of what it reminds me of is one of those little Sterlings where the magazine sticks out of the side. I kind of wish the magazine stuck out of the side, because that's what it's kind of what the gun looks like, a little bit like the magazine should be sticking out of the side. As far as not having a forearm on there, it's really not that big of a deal, because you can grip the gun either by the magazine or right here and shoot the gun very accurately just by gripping that. Works excellently. I don't feel that lacking the front handguard on this gun really causes any issues as far as like holding it. I mean, you want to do one of those really far forward holds, like 3-gun shooters do and stuff like that. Well, this isn't the gun for you. I don't think most 22s like this are. If that's what your skinny is, and get something different. This isn't the gun for you. Price, I wish they were a little bit cheaper. I think they're generally about $279. You get one heck of a gun for it, though, honestly, because you really don't have to change anything on it. It is what it is. You can buy a few things, like I said, that tech sight for the back. It may come with a different front sight. I definitely think that would be a good upgrade to this gun, and that's the only thing that I think that should really be done. If you decide to make a makeshift stock from a different stock, that's on you. I may end up doing it just for the coolness factor, not that it's needed, because the stock is fine. It really is. It fits in the bag. So if you do a different stock, it may not fit in the bag anymore. A little folding stock. It may not fit in that bag, and that bag is pretty cool. I don't have it right here, but it floats. So an excellent boat gun because of that. Just an all-around good survival gun because it's so light. I mean, you can lug this thing around, with several of those magazines, and get 4 or 5 magazines and 500 rounds of 22 and throw it in a thing, and you got yourself a really good survival rifle that'll last you. However long the 500 rounds would last you, assuming you ain't just out frivolously shooting off rounds. That would last you quite a while. 20 years? No, probably not. But definitely something that would get you through. And I think this gun is an excellent choice, worthy of your consideration if you're thinking about some type of survival rifle. And if weight is a consideration, which generally I'm not a huge snob about weight, like on a gun like this, compared to like a Glock 17 or something, Walther PPQ, this is a much heavier gun. But for my intended purpose of it, which is a home defense and actually a good shooter, the weight is good. There's nothing wrong with the weight. For the intended purpose of this gun, because it is a survival style rifle, saving weight really means a lot. Whereas a shotgun like this 870, if it's a little bit heavier than a Mossberg 500, it's a moot point to me. If anything, the more weight is better, especially on a 12 gauge. It's going to help with recoil. So that's kind of where I am on with weight, as opposed to like a Ruger 1022, because it is a survival style rifle. Another thing that you can think of this gun as is not necessarily a takedown, which is kind of what I do with it, which is just leave it put together. Just leave it put together. You don't have to take it apart and put it together every time. You can leave it put together for the rest of your life and your kid's life, and they might not even know it's a takedown. So you could leave it put together and use it as it is. Then, if you ever need to take it down and put it in a bag, and take it on a camping trip or something, you've got the option. And that's kind of how I look at this gun, is that. And the Ruger also does that amazingly. The Ruger 1022 takedown. If you look at it that way, in the sense of it's just a regular rifle with the takedown feature, not necessarily it has to be taken down every single time. That's kind of like some of the Remington Model 12s. A lot of those are takedowns, and people don't even know it. Even AR-15s. I'm gonna go a little bit off on a tangent here, but the Ruger. I'm gonna pick on Ruger. The Ruger, what is it? The SR556, the piston-driven one. You remember when they came out with that? The piston, was everything is cat's meow, and then they brought out the takedown Ruger SR556, and AR-15s are already pretty much takedown because you can break them in half. You just pop the 2 pins out, it's a takedown. Okay? It breaks in half. Then, Ruger says, okay, well, we're going to take the barrel out. Which, when you take the barrel out, it saves about this much length because you got that long rail up front. It saved about 4 inches, 3 inches off of the length of the gun. And I'm like, that's not even worth it. I mean, to get a gun for that, it's not really. It is a takedown, but the takedown feature on it was more of a cool factor than it was anything else. I mean, more of a quick barrel change than a takedown feature. Yeah, but it was known as a takedown. To each their own. To each their own. But I I thought that was really funny. So maybe you will, maybe you won't. And I guess you could even think about this, even though I don't know if you can buy barrels for these. You may. I've never seen them for sale. If you ever would happen to shoot out the barrel, which you probably wouldn't, you can change the barrel out on it easier. Not sure if you got to rehead space it, if whatever's going on in there. If the barrels match the gun, I have no idea about that. I'm not a gunsmith. They may have them made specifically to mate up. So if you got 3 or 4 of these and you switch the barrels between the guns, you may have an issue. I don't know. Don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. About $279 for these. They're excellent. I believe they do have aftermarket triggers, like one for it, and it's not too expensive. I don't think. That's completely up to you. There's not much to do on this gun. This gun kind of comes as it is, out of the box, ready to go, ready to do what you need it to do. It's a cool looking gun. It's a capable gun. Features, it's got, out of the box, it's got one more feature than the Ruger 1022 does, which is the last shot hold open. If that's important to you, then even if you decide to go like a Marlin 795, which is the same as this except non-takedown, those are really, really accurate. I mean, they're very accurate. I mean, they're like one whole group's accurate. They are very, very accurate. Maybe that one would be a better choice, and they're a lot cheaper. So, thanks for watching.